friends' dads used to do it years ago, and obviously hearing that, you know, seeing some of that, that's what kind of brought me into it a bit more. But then learning wise, one of my cousins, he learned how to do it and he was doing it, so he just told me a few bits and pieces and that. And I used to go to a few conventions, you know, just to watch, and then you pick up quite a few bits and pieces there, sort of thing, technique wise and that. But basically I just got into it by accident, because I couldn't do anything else with art that interested me until it come along, and then thankfully basically I just liked it, picked it up, got on with it, sort of thing. I think it's completely different to every other sort of medium. It's, you know, people try and relate it to painting or drawing or airbrushing, but in my opinion it's different to every single one of them. You can't just pick up a tattoo machine if you're a painter and be able to do it. I'd say it's probably closest to painting and furthest from drawing. So if you just draw, it's going to be hard for you to learn. You need the other art skills behind it, like saturation and things like that. You need to know basically what you're doing before you do it, because obviously it doesn't come off. I think because there's so many artists out there and so many that put out good work, it doesn't matter whether you're a tattooist or a painter, it's hard for anybody. There's obviously people that get noticed all the time because they do something different, but because there's so many people that do the same quality, it's hard to get pointed out, sort of thing. But all you can do is do your best, put out good work, and just go from there. I'll just carry on doing what I'm doing and see where it takes me. I haven't got any wish to go on any further. I just like to tattoo the people I tattoo, make them happy with what they've got. You know, I'd like to own a few studios in the future so that when I get older I can just, you know, tattoo what I want when I want, sort of thing. But apart from that, I just carry on doing what I'm doing.
If I could run away from the day.
Earliest musical influence, I guess, came from my dad playing his acoustic guitar at home, and he used to listen to the guitar bands of the 60s. He was kind of into that sort of thing. Growing up in the 70s, we had bands like Nazareth and Focus, real guitar-based stuff, and there was no MTV back then. What you listened to was on the radio. Then we had bands like The Sweet, who were on Top of the Pops, and again all guitar based stuff, the Glitter Band. And then as I got older, more into the heavy metal stuff, I guess, Black Sabbath, that sort of thing. And I guess that's just built on to what I've been playing over the years, and the music I listen to has changed, but I still go back and listen to some of the older stuff. So the influences are there from young childhood stuff all the way through to the modern stuff I listen to now. A particular time when I was with John and another guy who I worked with, we went to Ozfest, it was at the time before it became Download, and there were two bands that really made us think, do you know what, we could get up there and do that, and that was American Head Charge and definitely my favourite of around that time, Ground Floor. If you think about the influences it has on people's lives, and music's been doing that for thousands of years, and if you look around the world, the different kinds of music, everything influences somebody. And modern music, why not? There's nothing wrong with modern music. There's a lot of skill behind it, there's a lot of passion goes behind writing this stuff, and people enjoy it, they get up there and they dance to it, people love it, why not? I would say that most of the time I've got music in my head. When I'm not playing music, I'm thinking about music. I travel a lot in the car, I listen to music all the time, and it's what fills the gaps in the day. And it's just always there, isn't it? It's something that even if you can't hear it, you can be thinking about it and you can hear it in your head, it's just there. And when I write songs, I'll be playing something fairly simple on the guitar, but in my head I can hear already what do I want the bass to do. Can I hear the drums are in there, it's already there. And then working with John, he just always seems to know what drums to put with it, and out it pops now and again. Sometimes it's crap, sometimes it isn't. We did have a band together called Chaos Dynasty, which technically is still together. We just never get around to practice, and we never get around to playing anymore. And Beyond the Chaos seemed to be a good name to take something in a different direction, perhaps. I've had a lot of small pieces of tunes, little bits of music in my head for a long time. Been playing quite a bit of that, and John's really been looking for something to produce that isn't on the fast side, but something that shows he can go through all the elements of whatever modern music wants. And Beyond the Chaos, the Mariner, I suppose the influence came from a pirate thing, if you like. You know, I've got an interest in pirates and sailing ships, that sort of thing. So the interest was there.
Well, the band's been around for 10 years, give or take a little bit, and we started it out with a completely different lineup, and, you know, at this level people kind of come and go, and you just sort of persevere through it. It took us quite a long time to get our first album, Manifesto for Nomination, out. That came out in 2008, but we'd worked on it for close to 5 years by the time it finally came out. And during that time we kept having, you know, we had setbacks in terms of people in the band leaving or staying and leaving and stuff, and then we had issues with the recording that it just drug and drug and drug. So we finally got that out. But by this time, because the first album took so long to come out, we'd already written 85-90% of Building the Towers and Indoctrination. So that Manifesto came out in November of 2008. We started tracking drums for Building the Towers in February of 2009. So, I mean, it was 90 days later, we were in the studio getting ready to do another. So, we were in the middle of that process when Sean left, and Pamela Moore from Queensryche guested on that album, and we had her flight booked and everything arranged for her to come sing on it. And he left very unexpectedly, or fairly unexpectedly, leaving us with no vocalist, but demos of songs that he had written lyrics for and written melodies for that we could no longer use, and she was going to be there in 2 months or something, and we had no singer either. So we were like, oh my god. So I called up the guys at Nightmare Records, and I said, can I get numbers for this guy and this guy? They were like, yeah, here's the phone numbers. But the guy you really want to talk to is Steve Braun. He's in Nashville, he's not too far from you. He's in a band in Italy called Ascent, but it's a project band because the distance involved, so he's your guy. So here's his number. So we called Steve up. Sean left the band on a Friday, I believe, Thursday or Friday, and by the next Sunday, Steve was in the band. Which is unheard of in our genre because you have to have a singer that can just bring it. If your singer sucks, your band sucks. And so that was an amazing thing. And what was funny is that Pamela came out about 3 weeks later, I guess. Maybe it was only a month before she was doing it. I can't remember exactly. But some of the guys in the band had not even met Steve. So the first time that they met him, we were actually at the photo shoot for Building the Towers when we were at the airport with the helicopters and everything, what's in the booklet. That was the first time he met everybody. So that was pretty awesome. So we got over that hump, and that was a big deal. And we put a lot of effort into Building the Towers. And so basically, kind of in the middle of that process, we were offered a tour with Band Fozzy to come here to the UK. That was in May of 2010. And at that point, the album was in mix down, and we're just kind of waiting on it to get done so we could release it. So we did this tour here. It was really successful and really good for us. So the guys in the band, in Fozzy, Rich Ward and so on, they invited us to come back in October for about 3.5 weeks with Stuck Mojo, which is pretty much the same guys. So we took that, and we had that tour booked. And as it turned out, Building the Towers released, I think, on October 12th of 2010, if I remember right. And on the 6th, I found out that I had lymphoma. And basically 2 weeks after I found that out, we were supposed to play in Paris. So I found out I was sick. The album released the next week, and we were supposed to be in Paris starting a tour 2 weeks from that. The Friday before we were supposed to leave, we needed to wire money to the bus company, and as it turned out, I wasn't going to get the final test result until that following Monday. So if we wired the money to the bus company and I couldn't go because of the test result on Monday, we would lose that money. It was a lot of money, so we were like, well, if you can't wait one more day, we're just going to have to pull out of it. So that was kind of what happened. So anyway, we didn't do that tour, but I fast-tracked everything, so I got into treatment. And long story short, I was in treatment for about 10 or 11 months, I guess. Ended up having a stem cell transplant. Pretty tough to come back from, it sucked. During the time I was down, in treatment, we were offered 2 tours in Europe, about 3 weeks each, couldn't do either of them. So that was a real blow, because we had just dropped this album that was just amazing, got incredibly good reviews, had a lot of momentum built up, had a lot of sales first week in the US, and then all of our momentum was stopped because I was sick. So that was a blow, but we had held back the material. We'd held back some of the material from Towers because we had too much to do. We had too much to put out on one album. So what we did is we decided, all right, while I was sick, we were like, well, let's make sure that we continue our momentum somehow. And so we went ahead and got the rest of the material mixed down. Got a new set of artwork done by Travis, and put out Indoctrination in November 2011. So as it turned out, I found out in October of 2011 I was in remission, I was good to go. Just needed to kind of continue to recover and get stronger. So we had a new album drop, which was Indoctrination, which is really like a long EP more than anything else. So we were to come back, do a couple of Atlanta shows, release this album, and then we were booked for the tour that we just finished here in Europe. Just really appreciate everybody coming out and being at the show and supporting, wearing the shirts, picking up merch that they didn't have, that kind of thing. Made a big difference, made the show really awesome. It's the best show in the tour by far. I mean, long term, every musician, everybody that's in a band has a dream that they'll make a living from it and they can play the guitar or whatever and support their family like that. And that would be great. I don't see it happening because the music business is so bad right now, but we're just going to continue to push it as far as it'll go, and if that we get there, cool.
Co-owner of Hello Sailor in Blackpool. I've not been actually tattooing very long, probably about 3.5 years now, and the area I'd like to work more in is portraits. Best portrait at Tattoo Freeze 2012. You sort of enter them, we've entered them sort of every time, just out of, I don't know, why not, really. Never in a million years expected to win, especially with the calibre of art going up there, but very proud moment. It was a piece that I'd wanted to do for quite a long time actually, and it was tattooed on my husband actually, which made it a little bit more special because we had the photo taken together. It's a nice addition to the studio. Kind of fell into it by accident, and I was actually a waxwork sculptor before this, and I've always been pretty interested in sort of human face and everything. It was sort of went down at the naughty route really, self-taught, and then sought help from other tattoo artists, and eventually got offered a place at a studio. Pretty badly run actually, so gave me the confidence to set my own place up. It's the permanence of it, I think. I like the way it's evolved so that people are thinking more about things that they could have, and realising it's not just something that you can pick off a wall, anything you can paint, you can tattoo basically. It's just very personal, something to keep forever. And there's definitely a lot of competition out there. very good competition, but it's try not to focus so much on what other people think. As long as your clients are happy and you're happy with the job that you've done, I think the recognition just comes on its own.